Hey, what's going on guys? It's Tom Mason here, and today I want to give you a quick look in what's inside my photography kit bag. Right, so before we get into lenses, cameras, all that jazz, you don't need all of this gear to be a wildlife photographer. This is stuff that I've built up over many years. I've shot since I was 11 years old. Started off on the epic Nikon D40 that had 6 megapixels. 6, not 16, 36. 6, and I loved it. You know, I had a 70 to 300mm lens, and I used that all the time. It used to hunt like and eventually it would focus and I might get a shot, and it was so frustrating. I can't even explain to you how frustrating it was, but that is what taught me of where I needed to go and what equipment I wanted to buy in order to progress as a photographer. So of course, you don't need all of this to get started. I want to show you this today as my gear bag, so it gives you a bit of an insight of what I use professionally. This stuff is my basic setup. This is what I use on pretty much all of my assignments and things like that. And it will make an appearance at some point. There's a load of other stuff like camera trap gear, but we'll cover that in a future episode. This is the basic standalone gear that I use all the time. So let's get into it. Let's pull some cameras and lenses out. So to get started, of course, we have a camera, and at the moment I am loving the D500. I always carry 2 professional bodies. I've got this one and a D810, D700 also in the bag. Love this, you know, the performance is great. That frames per second, oh, it's just so good. Autofocus, everything like that. Professional build quality, rugged, you know, I work out in the rain and stuff like that, so I really like my cameras to be dependable. This one is really killing it at the moment, so that is always in the kit bag. In terms of lenses, let's start off with a big one. This is my 300 2.8 VR2. 2.8 just makes such creamy, beautiful bokeh. Lovely, really so nice. Bought this when I was 18, saved up for about 4 years to get hold of it, and it's absolutely worth every single penny. Use it all the time for portrait images and stuff like that, for those really clean shots. And of course, you can team it up with the Teleconverter just to get that bit of extra reach. For me, I love it because also it's reasonably small for a super telephoto. A 400 or a 500 f4, yeah, they're just a bit big. This is great because it's reasonably compact. I can have it in my bag, but also travel with all the other lenses and equipment that I like, and still get some great close-up shots with this bad boy. The next lens is another telephoto, and that is my 70 to 200 2.8. This is such a standard lens for most professional photographers. You know, great bokeh, great quality, but for me as a wildlife photographer, it's so useful for putting my subject in its context. If I was going to go back, I'd actually probably buy this before I bought the 300 2.8. It's such a flexible lens. I can use it on so many different assignments. Really love it to bits. Team it up with like the D500, and it's a great flexible lens, but on a you know, full frame camera as well, it's absolutely gorgeous. The bokeh is really nice and well rendered. Super sharp, super fast, definitely worth adding to the bag. Following the 2.8 lenses is the 24 to 70 2.8. This is my favorite lens for you know, landscape stuff like that. If I'm doing people pictures in terms of like putting them in the context and stuff like that, it's great for it. It's super sharp, super fast. This isn't the VR version. Don't really use it that much because when I'm shooting stills, it's great and I don't really need the VR functionality. It's a top quality lens, 77mm, so I can use it with all my filters and stuff. Just really is a good build quality. It's taken a couple of knocks over the last few years, but really dependable bit of kit. It's not ready for close-up wildlife images because the close focus is only 38 centimeters. That's absolutely fine if you're shooting like an elephant or something, but in terms of if you're doing foxes or anything like smaller, yeah, I've got another lens for that. But it really is a good all-rounder lens, and to be honest, if I could only have one lens, I would pretty much pick this one. The next lens is another wide, and that's the new 20mm 1.8G series. If you read any reviews online, you know this is an absolute beast of a lens. It's so sharp, so fast, it has such great performance. The quality it produces edge to edge is just amazing. I was using this out in the Falklands to photograph penguins, super wide, and the great thing is the close focus on this is 0.2 of a meter, so 20 centimeters from the focal plane. So it's literally that far from the end of the lens. That is stunning for wide angle wildlife photography. Love this to bits. It's really super lightweight as well, and of course, you know, being really small, I can add it to the kit bag quite easily. Great for a remote camera or anything like that. Loving this one very much. Now, one of the lenses that is in my bag, but I don't really use it too much, is the macro, the 105. It's such a gorgeous bit of kit. It makes such wonderful pictures. It's so tack sharp. But for me, I just don't do that much macro photography. When I do, however, it is perfect. It goes all the way to give you a life-size representation of your subject that's perfect. It really is perfect lens. It's also a great portrait lens for anyone who does people pictures. And certainly for its price to quality ratio, it definitely is one of the best value Nikon lenses to get hold of. So if you like your bugs and your insect, this is the one to have. But I must get out and do more with my macro this year. Maybe I'll make that a challenge to make a bit of a video about macro photography. But yes, certainly worth having in the kit bag. Of course, I have a flash gun. This is the SB700. Really like this because it's small, lightweight flash. The battery life is really good on it, and it has a flexible range of features. I can use it as an off-camera strobe. I can also use it in TTL mode for high camera sync and stuff like that. It's really useful if I'm trying to overcome some of the highlights and work in bright conditions for a bit of fill flash. Really good flash, really ergonomical, very simple to use, and it's small and lightweight, so it doesn't add too much to the bag. Thinking about picking another one of these up, but yeah, definitely worth the addition. Love this thing, use it all the time. On the subject of flash and stuff like that is my Pocket Wizards. These are great for triggering remote flashes, but also remote cameras. I use this for my triggered kind of wide angle remotes with wildlife. They have excellent range of about 500 meters. That's superb, and of course they're really reliable. I know there's cheaper options you can get, the Yongnuo ones and stuff like that, but these are just so rugged and reliable, and they work all the time. Never had a problem with them, so they're always with me. Yeah, excellent battery life too, that's really great. Now, if I'm doing any landscapes, I've always got my leaf filters with me. I have the 0.6 and 0.9 ND filters in both the hard and soft varieties, plus a polarizer and a little stopper. Really good little kit for me balancing light and exposure and stuff like that. Really good, no color cast or anything like that. The leaf filters are really definitely the best quality. I know they're a bit expensive, but at the end of the day, you know, you spend the money, you get the quality, and as long as you use them and look after them, they're brilliant. So love those to bits. Gotta have a rocket blur. This one with a little bendable top. Really like this, you know, just for taking any dust out of the cameras, you know, getting any of those dust spots off the sensor. But it's also really handy for getting any, you know, bits off lenses and stuff. And if you're working with filters in the rain, you can really kind of like blow any water off. That's really kind of handy. It means that you don't make any smears on the lens. That's really cool. You know, for like £8, you can't not have one of these in the bag. Pretty much every photographer should have one of those. Memory card case, this is my Peli one for CF cards. Also got an SD card, one of them. Really rugged and dependable, solid and waterproof. If I drop it in the water, it's not a problem. And you know, it's crush proof and everything like this. Keeps your data safe, keeps you protected, really nice. Great little thing as well, because it just slides down into the bag. Not a problem, love carrying one of those. Of course, I've got a GoPro. This is a Hero 3 Black Edition. Haven't updated it yet. Don't really see the need to. Great quality, performance, excellent for behind the scenes videos, anything like that, but also for time lapses. I also use it for wildlife shots where I'll stick it on a pole and edge it closer to my subject. Really good for that. And of course, for the underwater shots, I don't have to bring a massive rig, housing, anything like that. I can stick this on my pole, get it underwater for some different perspectives. Really nice. And you know, at the size, you can't not have one in your pocket or camera bag, so definitely worth the addition. You know, you can pick them up secondhand now for a good price, so definitely worth thinking about adding to your kit bag. Wouldn't leave home without mine, that's for sure. The Manfrotto Pixie Mini, love this as a little kind of like tabletop tripod. Really handy if I want to set up a time lapse or a remote camera. Can hold a pretty sizable DSLR actually. You know, full frame camera with a wide angle. Perfect for use with my Pocket Wizards for a remote trigger. Really handy, small, goes in the bag, very flexible, and definitely worth carrying in many situations. Finally, you've got to have a good pair of binoculars. Great for tracking down wildlife and finding your subjects out in the field. I always have these with me. These are my Opticron 8x42 waterproofs. Really rugged, dependable, had them for a long time. They're really beaten up and battered now. They've got tape around them so that the eye cups don't slip or anything like that. But you know, wouldn't leave home without them. Definitely worth adding to your kit bag, and if you don't have a pair, you certainly should. So that pretty much covers it for today. That was a quick look inside my wildlife photography kit bag. To reiterate once again, you do not need all this gear to be a wildlife photographer. It is just me showing you what I use. You know, use your gear, get out and shoot, and then think about what you might want to upgrade to in the future, but don't get hung up on the gear. Gear's great, but it's not the end of the world. Now, if you really like this episode, you know, please drop me a like. If people have got questions, you know, about gear that I've covered, or, you know, stuff that you'd like me to cover in future videos, drop it in the comments below and I will get back to you and probably shoot some videos based off that. But yeah, you know, subscribe for more content and I will be back in a future video. But now, I'm gonna get out and shoot.